January sales data just came in for Washington County, and we're going to be covering that here in this video. We've been talking to a lot of people who've had questions about what's happening in the market. People want to know, are the prices bottoming out? Is the market still crashing? Where's it going to go over the next 3 to 6 months? And so when we look at this data, it really comes down to looking at what's happening in the past, feeling what's happening right now in the present, and that will give us the determination for what we can actually see going into the future, right? Because if you look at this data, that's going to say, okay, yeah, things look pretty good a couple months ago, but right now things are going to be much different, right? And that's really where it comes down to us as real estate agents, me and my team looking at the market and saying, okay, we're getting this many showings on our listings, we're doing this many showings with buyers, we're having this many people reach out or want to go see homes. This is really what we're seeing in the market, and that will gauge, what's actually going to happen, right? Because we actually see, as boots on the ground, we actually see most of the progress right up front. It's real-time data. So even though we're going to be looking at this data here on my screen in just a second, talking about what's happening in Washington County, I do want to say, if you're thinking about buying or selling real estate, I want to be your trusted real estate resource. Call, text, or email me anytime. My information will be here on the screen. I love hearing from people. I've had people from all across the world reach out to me and say, hey, Cody, I'm moving there to St. George. I need some help. Please help me. And I've also had people who are here locally do the exact same thing and say, hey, I need to sell my home, buy something new. And we love helping those people as well. So if you like my approach to real estate and to making these videos, I'd love to talk to you. Again, reach out to me. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in here. There we go. So January 2023 sales data is out. Now this is for Washington County, all home types, just basically everything kind of across the board. If we take a look at this, home sales were actually down quite a bit and more than we expected, right? Home sales, there was only 98 home sales showing on our data set here for the month of January. This is down from 117 in December. This is something that I kind of expect. You always see this in January. January is typically the slowest month out of the year because anybody who closed on a home in January likely put that home under contract and made an offer on it in December, right? Which is the middle of the holiday season. You've got Thanksgiving on one side, you got Christmas and New Year's on the other side, and people are just busy, right? There's not generally a lot of people shopping for homes in the month of December. So anybody who was shopping in December closed in January, and therefore that's why this number is slightly lower than we saw in prior months, right? Even if we go back here and look at 2022, we're at 128, which is down substantially from the 172 in the month before. It actually even dropped more in February 2022 due to a lack of inventory. But going back here to beginning of 2021, again, this was at 98 here as well, and even back here to 2020, we're at 105. So we're actually kind of right in that same range where we should be, right? They're a little bit lower. Yes, we'd love to see it a little bit higher, at least from a real estate agent. That means we're doing more sales, and it's also, I think, healthier for the market because as you do more transactions, as there's more transactions that occur, you're going to see a lot more stability in the market, right? There's going to be a lot more information to actually work with, not only as a buyer, but also as a seller and as a real estate agent. So sales are pretty in line with what we expect to see. Now, the big change that we saw in the month of January is that the original listing price, the median, dropped substantially. We saw a huge drop, especially compared to the prior months. We are at 590 here and 575. We came down to $497,000 on the median listing price. We also did see sales prices drop substantially from 500 in December to 480 here in January of 2023. Now, when we take a look at this, if you just look at this, baseline, you might be thinking, hey, this says 497,000. That means that there was a lot of price drops in the market. But the thing you have to remember is that this is the original listing price, which is going to be the number that most homes started at. So that's one factor that you have to consider. The other thing that I think you have to consider as well is that typically in the slower months out of the year, you're going to see less people at the higher price points actually list their home for sale. You're going to see less people at those higher price points sell their home because they don't necessarily have to, right? A lot of them are going to hold on to their home. They're going to convert it into a rental property, or they've just got the flexibility to say, hey, I'm going to wait 3 months and make this, sale or this purchase happen later on. Whereas, oftentimes at the lower price ranges, those people are a lot more sensitive. They have to do that. They have to list their home for sale because they're moving out of state, right? Or they got a new job and they need something bigger and they have to do it now. Or maybe they're having a kid and they have to get a bigger home, right? So those people are a little bit more price sensitive. And so that also relays into the information that we see. We generally see a lot of the higher priced homes get listed in the opportune times, which is generally spring, summer, or fall. We don't usually see a lot of that in the winter months. So that's another reason here, or another thing that you have to look at. So we did see a huge price drop on the median original listing price, but I think the more important thing that you have to look at is the actual sales price, right? This is what the actual sales, you could have people who are saying, hey, I want to sell my home for $1 million, even though it might only be really worth 700, right? So that doesn't really matter. It really comes down to what are the actual sales prices. And we saw that drop $20,000 from 500 to 480. So that's a median here for Washington County. Homes were selling for roughly 4% below list price. So this is actually kind of bridging this gap. We actually we haven't been that high since back here in July of last year, right? We were at 93 and then 95 a bunch of times here, and then actually got down as low as 87% in December. So we're actually seeing sellers get more realistic about what their homes are actually worth. We're seeing them get more realistic about what they should actually sell for, and we're starting to see the market start to level off. Now, I do think that we'll probably see prices continue to come down over the next couple months. Again, probably somewhere in that 3 to 5% range, but it's really going to be dependent on what happens with inflation, what happens with jobs, and what happens most importantly with interest rates over the coming months, right? If interest rates stay flat, I do expect that prices will come down just a little bit more. If interest rates go down, I think the market could actually rebound going into the spring buying and selling season. I could actually see prices increase. I wouldn't be surprised to see this back up to 500,000 by March or April if we do get a slight decrease in interest rates. Even if interest rates only come down 0.5% or so, that could cause a lot of people to jump into the market and end up making a purchase, which would actually push prices up, at least in theory, right? As long as that demand outpaces that supply. So that's what we're, kind of expecting to see. That's what I'm expecting to see in the market. The last thing I want to point out here is that you have days on market sitting at 50. Now, this is just slightly higher than we've seen the last 2 months. We're, increasing on this number, but I don't think that's anything that's concerning. That's actually still in a range that's relatively healthy, right? Somewhere between 2 to 3 months days on market is actually pretty typical for a normal healthy market, at least as far as economists are concerned when it comes to housing. So we're still in a healthy range there. We're still seeing low inventory. We're still seeing a lot of people sitting on the sidelines who want to make a move, but they're just looking at the market thinking, hey, I got to sell my home, but now I'm going to sell my home for less than I thought, but then I got to go buy another home, but it's going to be at a higher interest rate. It just doesn't make sense. I'm just going to sit where I'm at until things get better. So really, I think that the market's going to be kind of in this flat zone. I think we're going to level out and, maybe see some slight price declines, maybe some slight price increases over the next couple months. We'll have to kind of wait and see, but I don't expect a whole lot of change in the coming months unless there's a drastic change to either unemployment or the number of people who fall behind on payments, or if there's some other catastrophic event, or if the interest rates either shoot way up or come way down. I think that we're gonna kind of level off unless one of those things happens. So with that being said, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. You can click that red button and then click the bell after it to be notified when I release new videos just like this. And also, if you're looking at buying or selling real estate, I'd love to be your resource. If you're looking anywhere in Utah, my team and I service the entire state, and we'd love to help you. You can call, text, or email anytime. My information will be here on the screen. And with that said, thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next one.